About this week's news a little. In, there's something that's really frustrating me is like the enormous erection people have over Elizabeth Warren. I'm not a fan at all. I do not support her for many reasons, and she is, she's certainly not a progressive in many ways. Rob, we're gonna reschedule, so it's okay. We're gonna reschedule. Um, so anyway, everybody is suddenly obsessed with Warren. When up until now, she was one of the first to announce. She announced in December, I believe it was. So she's been in it a long ass time, and she all of a sudden is above 7%, and that makes her just amazing. She, her slogan is "I have a plan for that," but it's actually "I have a platitude for that." She is trying to be Bernie so bad. And those of us who pay attention know that it's not even close. I look at people's records before they started to run for president. So when you are running for president and you're supporting things that you never once voted to support, or you never once talked about on any of your platforms that you've run on before, no, I don't trust you. I'm not going to trust you. Unfortunately, some people do, and they fall for it because they want to believe her. I'm noticing a lot of that, a lot of cognitive dissonance. I want people to remember the way she made us feel in 2016 when she decided to, go against what she supposedly has always fought for and believed in, and, Miss Tough on Wall Street, instead of endorsing the person who has been taking on Wall Street for 40 years, she endorsed the Queen of Wall Street. That spoke volumes, and it infuriates me when people just kind of forget that rage we felt and that betrayal we felt. I think one of the telling things as well is the way she's trying to, bite off of Bernie's platform is so interesting, considering she endorsed someone who calls those exact things ponies. So Anna, you're right. Like, so many of us do not trust her. One of my I have certain things that are not negotiable. I do not vote for people who take corporate money. I won't. Period. She takes corporate money. People really flip if you say that, but it's public record. She also stated that, and she also stated that I'm sorry, I got a message. It was distracting. She also stated that she has these policies and she's always believed in them. And no, she hasn't. Some of the stuff she's coming out with is so... She thinks it's a good idea, like this green imperialism. She's not saying she wants an end to war. She has never said that, pretty much in her whole life, let alone this campaign. She's saying she wants to make the bombs and such more green. That's what she's going for. She wants the military to be more environmental. So, I think, the people in the Middle East will feel much better being blown up with something that's, uses less oil and things like that. I do think that's certainly valid. I mean, I prefer someone like Bernie who actually gives a shit and wants to stop war. But okay. So one of her biggest issues not as in platform, but issues as in problems, has been her support for Israel. Um oh, if you can see that if you can see the button now, you can click to be added. If you can see it now. Um but let me see. Sorry guys. Um so votes to massive increase of war budget. Absolutely. That was one of my things when I'm like, no, I mean, Bernie voted against it all 3 times. And that's one of the reasons I support him. Warren acts like she's like totally against Trump, but then she voted for a $717 billion war budget, and her, Kamala, and Booker take this like 3-way selfie afterwards with big smiles. It's disgusting. So no, don't act like you care about people when you're bombing other countries and you're totally cool with it and allowing it, and also saying that, Americans can go fight in these wars continuously and lose their lives as well. But there are several, I believe it was 8. It was 12 candidates. I forget what the organization was called, but last week, so a bunch of those candidates for president went and spoke about Israel at an event. And it was about, Palestine and Israel and two-state solution and all of those things. Well, Warren has met with Netanyahu, so has Kamala, so has Booker, so, they all have. But Bernie hasn't. And that's why they hate him. He has continuously declined their invitations to meet with them. They won't ask him again. I don't see Joe Rogan ever asking me to come on his show. Like, ever. He doesn't know who I am. I guarantee it. That'd be hilarious, though. He kind of like, I don't know. He's kind of like me, but male, in a way, I think, maybe. But, oh yeah, so there were like 12 presidential candidates last week who were talking about Israel. Israel now will never ask Bernie back, that's for sure, because he straight up called Netanyahu a racist, which I pretty much jumped up and cheered about. So, Warren's speech was typical. Israel is our ally, and, all these gross quotes, like, she's just gross. And Bernie went up and he was talking about Palestine and saving Palestinians' lives and the unjust circumstances that are going on and causing so many people harm and so much death. And the organization said that only one person had done an acceptable and had a good speech, and that was Bernie. They said that he's the only one who they would even consider sharing. They said we won't even promote the other ones, they're just awful. But Bernie spoke to both, the Israeli people and the Palestinian people. And he spoke on basically how we can progress. And I thought that meant so much to get that endorsement of them, and to say out of all the candidates who did it, he was the only one who they were praising for his speech. The last time Netanyahu asked Bernie to speak for them, Bernie not only said no, he actually went to Utah and he gave I'm not sure why. I think he was already there for something, but he went to Utah and he held a speech on Israel and Palestine instead of going to meet with Netanyahu and taking a big old check. He said, I'm still going to do something with that. I'm just going to do it my way. So, they don't really like him for that, but which I embrace. Speaking of liking, that is one of my biggest grievances with Warren right now. So, if you guys are on Twitter, there's this woman, Zerlina Maxwell. She is she's a near tandem. They both just rip Bernie and his supporters a new one. They post straight up lies. I mean, I can criticize him plenty, and I do. He's far from perfect, but they make up legit lies. And then when we call them out and show them receipts, they do not delete, or, they don't renege, they don't correct, they don't do anything. They just leave it. And so Zerlina and Nira, they're just awful human beings. They're just ugly people. And they're praising Warren. And when I say praising, I mean, it's like, oh my God, she's so awesome. She's such a strong woman. She has a plan for that. Okay, so yeah, that concerns me. When people who loathe us as progressives, people who have trashed us and bullied us as progressives, are praising Elizabeth Warren, yeah, that concerns me. Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, these people praise Elizabeth Warren. Anyone who thinks she is actually progressive and these people are going to praise her, no, have we not learned anything? If they thought she was any kind of progressive threat whatsoever, they would tear her to shreds. The fact that they give her props continuously shows that they know she's full of shit. She has met with CAP numerous times. That's Neera Tanden's thing. They're totally against Medicare for all. They accept big money. They're hill bots. They're resistors. They're hill bots. They're establishment. They're like pretty much Nancy Pelosi. They're the same. She's met with them several times. She met with Hillary after she announced she hired Hillary's entire 2016 campaign staff. I think Warren would absolutely pick Kamala as her VP. And I say that because there's been pictures of them together, like really smiley and stuff lately. But they also met together, and the niece of Kamala actually made a post, and it said she took a picture of Kamala and Liz together, like smiley, last week, and it said, I can see them being prez and vice prez. I can see this. It's so perfect. They're great together. And I'm thinking, okay, that was Kamala's family member who posted that. I could totally see that. Yes, they are. Absolutely, Wesley. Warren has taken money from the medical device company industry, the Massachusetts health insurance places, just you name it. So she's not for Medicare for all. I've been telling people this for months. She signed Bernie's thing over a year ago. Well, it was, 2017. And she has already stated on her town hall that, yes, I signed it, but I don't agree with Bernie that he takes the health insurance company out of the equation. That's not Medicare for all. She does not support it. She has continuously walked it back. She has continuously evaded the questions and digress every time anyone calls her on it. She has stated she will continue to take corporate money. Those two things, I thought those were, lack of a better term, a litmus test. You take corporate money, fuck off. You don't support Medicare for all, fuck off. Like, why is everyone like that when it comes to Beto and Kamala and Buttigieg? But when it comes to Elizabeth Warren, it's like, well, like, look, any candidate, I don't care who they are, if they use the words pathway and access, there is no Medicare for all in there. And as someone with medical needs, Bernie is the only person I trust on Medicare for all. Him. That's it. I trust no one else. Because he's been talking about it for decades, and he's the one that made it a household term. He's the one that did the, wrote the bills for it, things like that. That's who I trust. Him. People who are sick and people who are thousands in medical debt, they cannot afford to wait for, incremental change. That's privileged as fuck. Anyone who says, well, it'll take a few years, and no, you're privileged. There are people dying. We don't have time. Maybe you do because you're healthy, but how about having some empathy? You need to start caring about other people and think about, holy shit, there are people who, I work in healthcare. I see this. I see these, these elderly people who cut their pills in half and, because they can't afford it. Elizabeth Warren comes out with this thing that's like, I came up with a bill to make the medication cap $500 a month. Oh, well, that's just fucking great, because you know what? How about the people who still can't afford their $300 a month? So that helps them in no way, shape, or form. So you're going to cap it at $500 a month? How about maybe $50 a month? How about that? Because these people are spending, what about all the people who are spending $450 a month? They're getting nothing out of your bill. That's how freaking privileged she is. And that's how out of touch she is. To be like, oh, I'll cap it at $500. That's great. Who the hell has $500 extra dollars a month? I mean, yeah, that'd be great for the, few percent of people who spend more than that on medications, but it's not more than the people who spend under the $500. So you're still talking $6,000 a year with her brilliant plan. $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. Oh, you won't charge more than that? Well, thank you. You're a freaking savior. I mean, it's a lack of compassion. It's ignorance. I want someone who's lived through a hard life. I want someone who actually, who actually understands what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. Someone who actually speaks to the poor and disenfranchised. That's who I want. I want someone who speaks to those people, not panders to them. Warren is, all I can say is I hope people start waking up. I don't know if they will. I really don't, because they compare her to Bernie so damn much, and it's gross, because I mean, I could talk all night about the differences, and I think I'm gonna write an article about it, but, um, it's really incredible that they think she's the female Bernie, um, when, first of all of her ideas are a watered down version of what he's been proposing for decades. So no, she's not even comparable. Furthermore, she, if, if she's the nominee, Trump will freaking destroy her. There's two people. I don't think anyone but Bernie can win, honestly, and that's because of mathematics, and that's because of the prior election, and that's because of, things like that. And I really don't think. Oh, don't even get me started on Mike, dude. Oh my god. Mike is ripping my heart out. You guys know the love of my life, Mike from Humanist Report. I've been on Humanist Report. He's been on here a few times. He's he's saying some praise for Warren lately, and it's ripping my heart out. And that's when I'm seeing that happen with people, and it's killing me because I'm like, why won't you wake up? Why? Um yeah, I digress, but yeah, that has me really upset. The past few days, I'm just like, I want to message him, but I'm scared if I do, it's not gonna go pretty, and I love him, so I'm just gonna take a breather. But yeah, I mean, they are, there are some people who are really like, drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say. And I don't understand, because I don't get how someone can say that they're torn between someone who's authentic and doesn't take corporate money and supports Medicare for all and all these things, and then also say, the opposite, but they're equivalent to them. I think it's very, very obvious that, especially given all the neolib shills that have been praising Warren, I think that it is very obvious at this point that she was entered into the race to be a spoiler for the DNC. I have absolutely no doubt. At first, I kind of was like, it kind of sounds a little conspiracy theorist. Well, but I kept it in the back of my head, and then I'm like, no, it's just because you can't stand her and you love Bernie. And then I would like rationalize, and I went back and forth, and now I'm pretty much 100% convinced that she, and also the debates, she is on there with like all these people who are like, who haven't even hit 2%. They didn't put her next to Bernie because he would have schooled her ass. He probably would have been too damn polite, which would have pissed me off, but he would have schooled her ass. And the only hope we have on the debate with Warren is Tulsi. That's the only one that's going against her who might say something. I hope she does. I don't know if she will, to be honest with you. I hope she does. But I am looking forward to seeing Bernie and Biden because, ooh, that's going to be sweet. And Hicklehopper saying he's going to go on there to school Bernie about some Medicare for all and how socialism's bad. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Awesome. Pay-per-view. So anyway, this was a quick show. If you guys didn't see my live show with Ron and Ron Placone and Graham Elwood, please check it out. It was Saturday night. They were in Philly, so we were all hanging out in person. And for the first time ever, I did a show with an audience, a live audience in the room. It was interesting. Little nerve-wracking, but it was fun. Drinks were involved, so we got pretty silly, but So check that out. As far as my guest tonight, I'm going to work with him to come up with another day, and I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks so much for watching. You guys are amazing, and much love.